Tip of the day. This comes up all the time in my practice. So a lot of times with estate planning, we put together trust agreements. These are documents where a person or two spouses or a group of people, depending on what you're setting up, determine what's going to happen to assets while they're alive, after one of them dies, after all of them die. And it's really just a game plan on how the assets are going to flow, and it's oftentimes a method to keep these assets out of probate. Now, what if you're someone who thinks you don't need a trust, or maybe you truly don't need a trust? Maybe you don't have a lot of assets. Maybe the cost of the trust compared to what you have isn't really worth it. Maybe you want to keep things simple. Maybe you're in your 90s and you just don't want to deal with putting that together at this point in your life. So are there ways around probate without having a trust in place? Yes. So oftentimes trust is the best route to go, all depending on your age and your assets. But what often gets overlooked, and I see this all the time when I do probates, is if you simply make sure you have beneficiaries or payable on death or transfer on death, often referred to as POD or TOD, on all of your accounts. And if you're in Florida, you can even do this with your home through the use of a ladybird deed. In other states, they offer transfer on death or TOD deeds, which are similar. These are all ways that you can add one or more beneficiaries directly to an asset, like a bank account. You can do a POD. You can also have accounts that are ITF, in trust for. There's lots of assets you can put TODs on. You can oftentimes name beneficiaries on CDs, on investment accounts. You can name them on retirement accounts, 401ks, plethora of assets that a lot of people own. Only these types of assets that you can actually add beneficiaries, PODs, TODs on. Again, in Florida, even your home, you can do this. In many other states too, you can do it through a TOD deed. Florida allows ladybird deeds. Make sure you do this. If you're someone who never got a trust in place, maybe you're a little bit older, maybe you were sort of, getting up there in age, 85, 90, 95, do your kids a favor. Please add them on your accounts. Or maybe you have a power of attorney and you have a child or somebody who trust listed as your agent. They can even do this for you. But I can't stress how much time and expense this can save, especially when talking about probate, by simply making sure that you have beneficiaries listed on everything. If nothing else, you have no trust in place, fine. You're not going to get one in place, fine. Just make sure you do your loved ones a good service and add them on as PODs or beneficiaries or TODs on accounts. And then the other thing that I'm going to throw in here too, it's also nice if you know what your assets are and you have a list of them somewhere, whether it's on a computer or even a handwritten list if it's easier for you, but even a general list, because oftentimes another thing that I see in probate far too often is people not even knowing where to begin to search for the assets. They're waiting for emails to come in, they're waiting for mail to come. So if you have any type of list, I don't care if it's written on a napkin, but it explains where your accounts are and how many accounts you have, especially for people who have multiple accounts. Do you have life insurance? Put it on there. Also, it's going to help you realize maybe what assets don't have beneficiaries and what you should put them on. But make a list. Have it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Any indication will help. It will point people in the right direction. Again, saves a lot of time and a lot of stress. Okay, so I hope this helps. If you would like any more tips on estate planning or probate, don't hesitate to reach out to our office, especially if you're in Florida. We're AtCause Law Office, the non-stuffy attorneys, and the link is in my bio.